With the release of One Piece episode 1000 came the official announcement that a new possibly canon movie titled One Piece Red would release in Japan on August 6, 2022. And with this announcement and the confirmation that Shanks will play some role in the movie, I decided to talk about what we could see take place in the film. Now I just started watching One Piece about a month ago, and I'm only at the time skip, which is episode 516. So if there's any crucial information that I missed or that's wrong, then forgive me. I'm trying to catch up, but I have to make this video now. Anyways, even though we all want to see Shanks fight and see how powerful he truly is, or learn more about his backstory, I have a feeling that the movie will most likely focus on the new female character and have Shanks as more of a side character or a cameo. The movie's titled One Piece Red, so while the scar on the D, Shanks being shown in the final seconds, and Shanks being called Red Hair obviously tells us that he will appear, there's no guarantee that he'll be the main character or even have a large role. Most likely the female character will also have red hair, and it'll focus mainly on her with a little bit of Shanks sprinkled in here and there. However, it would break the internet if Shanks was the main character and we saw him fight some crazy villains like Blackbeard or the other Yonkos. Even just getting to learn more about Shanks' origin, his time on Roger's crew, or his rise to the status of Emperor would probably be enough for most people. But that's not what you're here for. This video is titled One Piece Red, Shanks vs Blackbeard, and that's obviously what you came to hear. So let's talk about why Shanks vs Blackbeard is possible and might actually happen in the movie. Marineford. If you've seen One Piece, you know what happens in Marineford, but the end of the war doesn't come because the pirates defeat the Marines and take down Navy HQ, or because the Navy executes Ace and Whitebeard teaching the pirates a lesson. No. Even after these events take place and the pirates are retreating, the Marines continue to pursue them, causing unnecessary casualties on both sides, until Shanks appears and casually blocks an attack from Akainu, saving Coby's life. He then tells Sengoku that he'll bury Ace and Whitebeard, to which Sengoku agrees with zero hesitation or argument. It's also revealed that Shanks had been on his way to prevent the war from starting, however he got held up in the New World by Kaido, which was unfortunately the reason why he was late. We also learn that Shanks and Blackbeard have history together, with Blackbeard being the one who scarred Shanks' eye. And this is why Shanks vs Blackbeard could potentially happen. Both Shanks and Blackbeard have been traveling the Grand Line almost their entire lives, with Shanks being an apprentice on Roger's ship, and Teach on Whitebeard's. The two also met each other pretty early on, during the battle between Gol D, Roger, and Edward Newgate that lasted 3 days and 3 nights when the pair were kids. It was at this moment that Shanks realized something was off about Teach, and not just the fact that he never sleeps. But when he tried to warn Whitebeard of what would happen should he take on the Navy, still seeing Shanks as Roger's young apprentice, he brushed off his advice to go save his son. At the end of the Summit War though, Blackbeard said a line that set this altercation up. After stopping the war, Shanks said, "Those of you who only want to fight more, bring it on. We're happy to fight you." He then looks at Blackbeard and asks, "What do you think, Teach? Blackbeard?" To which Blackbeard responds, "I already got what I wanted, and we're not ready to fight you guys yet." In the manga it's actually worded better, and he says, "This is not yet the time for me to fight you." So as you can see, the battle between Blackbeard and Shanks is inevitable. However, whether we see it play out sometime after Wano, with Blackbeard having a third, possibly Zoan type devil fruit, or in the movie, at this point in the story, the battle will happen. It's also worth mentioning that in the story, Blackbeard is currently an emperor, signaling that he's on the level of Shanks in terms of power, if not stronger. Although Shanks of course left his left arm behind in the East Blue to give Teach more of a chance, since even with Haki and 2 devil fruits, we know that he needs it. Now that we've established why the battle is bound to take place though, let's explore what could happen and why it means the end of everyone's beloved redhead. So far in the story there are 3 pirate crews who have 10 members: the Straw Hats, the Red Hair Pirates, and the Blackbeard Pirates. Although the Blackbeard Pirates seem to be an exception, as Teach's official title is Admiral, and the other 9 members make up the 10 Titanic Captains, which is actually quite weird considering there are only 9 of them in the story so far. Anyways, as you're all aware, Shanks is not the main character in One Piece, Luffy is, and should Shanks die at the hands of Blackbeard, it would be another push for Luffy to defeat him. However, there are actually 2 other characters that have connections to Shanks that could also die, forcing 2 members of Luffy's crew to fight as well. The first person to join Luffy's crew was everyone's favorite pirate hunter that never called himself that, Zoro. And the second was brave warrior of the sea, friend of Sogeking, and captain of 8,000 pirates, God Usopp. Luffy's main goal as a pirate, other than going on fun adventures and eventually becoming the Pirate King, is to return the Straw Hat to Shanks. Zoro's goal is to become the world's greatest swordsman, but that title is currently occupied by his mentor and friend of Shanks, Dracula Mihawk. And Usopp's goal is to become a brave warrior of the sea just like his father. But here's where the problem lies. If Shanks fights Blackbeard, their crews will obviously battle each other, meaning that Yasopp will go up against Von Augur. And seeing as the warlords of the sea no longer exist, and that Blackbeard is a bigger threat than anyone other than Shanks anticipated, Although it's an unlikely stretch, it is possible and would be insanely hype for Mihawk to team up with Shanks. Mihawk could then fight against Shiryu of the Rain, and while most wouldn't assume that Shiryu was on the level of Mihawk, seeing as he was only as strong as Magellan in Impel Down, having stolen Absalom's clear fruit, he now stands a bit of a better chance, especially using a surprise attack or some other underhanded methods. And I know that Mihawk has observation Haki, which would probably allow him to see Shiryu, but Whitebeard, who had observation Haki as well, and was able to easily defeat Ace over 100 times, even while asleep, didn't see or maybe wasn't able to block Squad's attack at Marineford. And while this was probably due to him being sick already, with the insane feats that he was able to perform during the war with 2 holes in his body, you wouldn't assume that he was sick. So it's possible that there are ways to hide from observation Haki users, maybe through Devil Fruit Awakening, or possibly because Mihawk will be distracted while trying to save Shanks from Blackbeard, allowing Shiryu to wound him, turning the tide of the battle. However, there is another way that may force Mihawk to fight. While Shiryu seems to be the Blackbeard pirate swordsman, the 10th Titanic captain who hasn't debuted yet might take his place and be more of a threat. So let's say that not only Shanks, but also Mihawk and Yasopp die at the hands of Blackbeard and his crew, it would set up another incredibly emotional scene, not only for the main character, but for 2 of his best friends, and force them to take on Blackbeard and his crew to avenge them, while at the same time surpassing the people they so greatly admired. And initially I assumed that Luffy and Shanks would probably end up fighting due to a clash of interest, because Luffy said, "I don't care if you're a naval admiral or an emperor of the sea. If I don't beat each and every one of you, I'll never be king of the pirates." But I can't really see Luffy fighting the person he looks up to the most, no matter what. Therefore, it may be better story-wise for Shanks to fall to Blackbeard instead. But let me know what you think about this. Do you think we could see Shanks take on Blackbeard in One Piece Red? Is that something that Oda would leave for the show, or do you think it's unlikely that an event like this will unfold? If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.